Guys, this is Bbiopolis. Bbiopolis is a city, three-dimensional city, created by students in my student teacher's class. She was my student teacher from a couple years ago, and I think you guys can do better. She is now working somewhere up in Columbus. She had a bunch of geometry kids put this together, and you know what? You guys are better. I would like to challenge you to create the Kingdom. A much, much better urban area with all kinds of buildings and shapes and things done correctly and neatly. And we're going to try and beat Bbiopolis. You guys already have your groups. I'll scroll through the pictures again so you can see them real quick. This group of hers decided to design a university. So this is actually a college campus. BB University, BU. This one was more of a odd city. I can't read some of the signs on those. Zip City. It's a little messy looking here. Look at this. That prism doesn't even go together, right? That's messy. You guys can do better than this. A zoo, kind of creative. I like the Dippin' Dots. Anybody recognize this town? I hope you do. And if you don't, I'll tell you next week. You should recognize it. Another city, again, a little messy, like what's all this scribble-scrabble going on here? That's unnecessary. They decided to make a waterworks, so they made a slide, some other crazy stuff. Again, it's kind of messy put together here, right? Kids definitely rushing here. We can do better. So, everybody in your folders, in your groups, I want you to pull out the Kingdom Directions. It's a piece of paper that looks like this. I'm going to go through it with you. Make sure you understand all the requirements, and then let you get to work. You'll be stuck listening to me for a little while. Not long, but a little while. And then Mr. Preston can clarify any directions. So, the objective, you have 4 days for this, 4 class days for this. You have, what day is today? Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday to finish this all up. You're going to construct a city or some type of area that's going to be placed in the kingdom. It's going to be comprised of 3-dimensional objects made from 2-dimensional objects, which are called nets. You're going to use only an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper to make each net. So your buildings are not going to be massive. Don't even get those thoughts going. Your city has to have at least 1 prism, 1 pyramid, 1 cylinder, and 1 cone. You cannot do simply a bunch of boxes. Okay, so 1 of each. Before you put your building into the final model, it's got to be labeled and decorated. Each building has to have a calculation sheet. This is where you get a lot of your points. Most of your points come from the math calculations, which, you know, makes sense. Each person in the group has to complete 2 buildings and calculation sheets on their own. So everybody's responsible for their own buildings. So part of this is group, and part of this is an individual grade. Keep in mind, all buildings must be school appropriate. I know some thoughts are already thinking, don't be silly, don't be dumb, okay? Make them school appropriate. Your team must complete a total of 6, a minimum of 6, or 8, if you have 4 people in your group. Every of those buildings must have different dimensions. You cannot cut out 6 of the same building. Please, please, please be creative. You're going to work on this project over, that should say 4 days. Your paper says 4 days. Mine says 4 days now. Use your time wisely or you're not going to finish. You guys, you really won't. If you dilly-dally and you're like, oh, I don't have to do anything because Miss King's not here, you're going to not finish. Come to class prepared with all materials, okay? The only things I'm going to give you construction paper and cardstock. So you have lots of colors. The cardstock's going to be a little thicker. Go with that, I would prefer. I'll give you glue and tape, scissors, and markers. That's all I'm giving you. If you want anything else, your group needs to bring it in. All of my other supplies are off limits. Guys, this is really important. Don't go digging around in my stuff when I'm not there. Like looking for those sparkly pipe cleaners that you want to make squigglies out of. There's not enough for everybody at this point in the year, guys, and I'm not going to go buy more. So anything that you want, you can bring in. You can bring in anything you want. If you notice in those pictures, they even brought in like little Lego guys to be like people in the city. Attendance is absolutely crucial, guys. You only get 4 days. That's it. You don't get any extra time. If you're absent, okay, you know exactly what's expected of you, and you still have to finish your work. Okay? Your work ethic needs to be strong. So, common mistakes. Where are you going to lose some points on this? Again, the calculation sheets are really, really important. You'll see when we get to the grading rubric how important they are. Each building must be named and labeled. When I go to grade these guys, I don't want to have to go, is that building 1? Or is it building 7? Or is that the sporting goods store? Or is that the shopping mall? Alright? I need to know what it is. You got to name your city, and it's got to be labeled on your project somewhere. Again, don't get off task. You're going to lose points if you are off task, and you'll see how in a second. Some very important numbers for your calculations. Just kind of hold on to this page. When you get into the math, you'll see inches. 1 inch is actually 10 feet. 1 gallon of paint will cover 100 square feet. Roofing material costs $17 per square foot. Paint costs $15 per gallon. And it costs 13 cents per cubic foot to heat or cool your building. Okay, so hold on to this sheet. When we get to the calculations, you're really, really going to need it. Oh, hey, look, speaking of calculations. This has to be filled out for every single building. If you have 6 buildings, how many calculation sheets will you have? 6. Exactly. You have to have one for every single one. And your name goes on this. This is not a group. Each one of these is done individually. First, you're going to check off, fill in any of these that apply to your building. I'll give you the formula sheets here in a second, so you'll have those. You don't need to stress about that. Alright? And also on the back, you need to draw an image of the building, of the shape, and label it. Okay? So if you need to know what the length of the base is, put it here. Maybe that's like 12 inches. Okay? So that's what you're going to do with this. You're going to label in all of the measurements that you need. Start off with showing the equation in just variables. This will help me make sure you use the correct formula. If you don't write the correct formula, then I can at least follow your work based on that. So for each question, so this one wants to know total surface area, how much material was used to construct the building. Start off with the formula used, and then do the math. Plug in your numbers and find your answer. Okay? How much paint is used to paint the outside, and how much will it cost at $15 per gallon? So, notice this says surface area to be painted. There's a difference from the total surface area up here, because you may not paint certain parts of your shape. For instance, if you have like a pyramid, you probably won't paint the bottom of it. No need to paint the floor. Okay? So make sure you're using the correct formulas. Just because it's surface area doesn't mean it's the exact same thing. Alright? Same goes with the roof. How much roofing material is needed to shingle the roof? How much will it cost at $17 per square foot? We'll look at the formula sheet in here in a second, but typically what you're looking at when you're looking at surface area to be roofed or painted is what we call lateral surface area. The last one, how many cubic units needed to be heated or cooled, and how much will it cost if it is 13 cents per cubic foot. This is basically the volume of your building, right? If I want to heat the inside, that's the volume. The volume is how much fills the inside. Now, you do need to have a record-keeping sheet. Each group is going to have one of each of these, okay? This is just your final numbers. This is where I can kind of just do a quick check and see if it's correct. And if it's correct, then I don't need to go check your individual work, okay? So you have the name of the building, the total surface area to be painted, number of gallons of paint needed, and the cost, and then you add it all up here at the bottom, okay? If you do more than 8 buildings, there's some space. You can add in some lines. Feel free to do so. You also have record keeping for your surface area to be roofed, so same idea. And for your volume that's needed to be heated or cooled for your entire area. Alright, now on to the important part. The grading rubric. How you are going to be graded. First of all, your homework. You don't have, like, homework. Pretend I'm making air quotes because that's what I'm doing. You don't have homework over the next few days. You do get your homework points in class. You will get full credit by working diligently in class. That means not getting off task, not being too loud, doing what you're supposed to be doing, not playing with supplies, cleaning up, all that kind of stuff. This is really important. The entire group gets the same grade. Okay? The whole group gets the same grade. Each time Mr. Preston has to ask your group to stay on task, you'll lose a point. Consider this your warning. He's not going to warn you. He's not going to be like, hey guys, you should be quiet. Alright? If he says be quiet, you lose a point. However, I know some of you are like, but I don't want my group's grade. I'm the best one here. At the end of the project, you're going to complete evaluations for each of your group members. And how your members evaluate you are going to be part of your homework grade. 20 points just for that part. You're also going to receive a project grade. And this is kind of the fun part of it. Neatness, creativity, attention to detail, that kind of stuff. This is also where you can earn extra merits. If you're extra innovative, I will gladly give out lots of merits. The most important part, this is considered a test. We are not taking a unit test. There's no quiz. There's no nothing over this. So this project is your test grade. It's going to be out of 200 points. Guys, you may want to circle that or highlight that something on your paper. 200 points. Right? Part of it is individual. I will look at your calculation sheets. Remember, those are done by yourself. Each page has a total of 36 points. If you do 2 buildings, that's a total of 72 points. Okay? That is scored individually. So make sure you have your math correct. It'll walk you through exactly where all those points come from. You also have a group portion. The record keeping sheets. I just messed up my Word file. There we go. The record keeping sheets. Remember, that's where you're just kind of recording overall ideas for me. Those are not worth a whole lot of points, but you guys know what it's like. Missing a few points here, a few points there will bring you down a lot. The overall city. Just in general, making sure it's all put together really well. 70 points or 90 points if you have a group of 4 of you. This is where each building has to be labeled, decorated accordingly, make sure your name is on it, like the name of the building, and the design of the city itself. So you can look, the grade rubric, your homework grade is a total of 60 points. 4 days, and you get 60 points worth of homework. 10 points per day for being on task. 20 points for your evaluations, and that will be an individual score. So your whole group will have the same score on your homeworks throughout the day, but your group evaluations, how people rate you in your group, will give you an individual score. The project grade is a group grade, alright, out of 25 points. The test grade, like we just went through, the calculation sheets are individual, the record keeping sheets are group, and the overall city is a group. Alright, there's technically a total 155 or 157 points or 177 points. But what I'll do is I'll take it into a percentage. So 145 out of 157, whatever that percentage is. If it's an 80%, whatever that percentage is, I times it by 2, and that's how many points out of 200 you will earn for your test grade. That's in addition to the 25 points for the project and the 60 points for the homework. Okay? So, lots and lots of points to be earned here.